Let's go. Let's go. Aloha Friday, guys. Okay, I think I'm ready for this live. I've literally been playing on the floor. I was laying down on the ground with all the dogs just running everywhere, and then got sat down, got ready to hit start the stream. Then I was like, oh, I forgot my hot tea. So I had to run back in for the hot tea. Yeah, I'm doing good today. So how are y'all? Here we go. I know we've had Miss Thea in chat, and I know she was supposed to have a live too. In fact, I walked in there to say hi, so I'm not sure if she is going live. In fact, I meant to ask that, and if not, I got to go check it later because her stuff is so much fun, guys. Oh, it's Thea. For those of you guys, oh, it's Thea right here. She does all paranormal, creepy, conspiracy theory, just fun stuff. Okay, 15 in your central time, I think. Something like that. So it's coming up in a few minutes, yeah? And something like that, something like that. Okay, I will be running in there as soon as I'm done with this. And yeah, you know how that goes. Up, and we've got our Jean-Paul Hansen here. Hello, 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 Jean-Paul. Hey, JP, how you doing, my dear? And also, oh, yeah, no, but Thea and JP does some amazing music stuff. So checking his channel out, guys. You know, I've said it before. Oh, mountain. Yeah, okay, there. Why did I think Central? Other than the fact I have no brain in my head right now because it's kind of been fried. And Tammy, how you doing, Tammy? Love you, my dear. How you, my dear? And you guys are cold right now, yeah? You guys are in winter, right? Sorry, I'm trying to remember everyone and who's in winter, who's in summer, and stuff like that. And here's Exotic Prairie. Good evening, my dear. We got some updates on certain stories, including, I guess, the best news for everyone. And I'm just going to start up with it. Estefani was found. She's okay. She's safe. We will address it in a few minutes. Not much to address. There's not much out there about it, and that's fine. That's not our job to know all the ins and outs and all that. Again, our job is to get the word out about the person who's missing. Yes, we speculate. Yes, we do those things, but in the end, this is amazing. Okay, she is safe. She's home with her family right now. Um, and I was just so happy to hear that. So, in the bushes is in the house. Hello, in the bushes. How you doing? Tammy's sick. That's not fun. That is not fun. As a girl, sorry guys, I was not here last Friday because I was fighting sick. And so I'm happy. I know a lot of people have different thoughts about vaccines and all. In my case, I to do them because I don't have a spleen. So I can't fight certain things like meningitis and stuff. I have a massive issue with. So I have to do certain things just for my own protection. So, but oh my God. 101-degree fever for almost a day and a half straight. And there was a certain time in the middle of the night that I just didn't even have the energy to get out of bed. And I suspect it was probably 102 at that time, but I just could not, I couldn't even get out of bed at that point. So, and, but yeah, that was that news on Estefani. I was trying to come up with, okay, what are the big news stories over the last week? What do we need to update people on and things like that? And one of the things I do is I go back through cases I've been looking at. And all of a sudden, there was a comment there saying she's been found, but it was from someone anonymous. And you guys know what I think about anonymous posts. No. Too easy for people to put things out and run with it and stuff like that. So I did send a message to one of her family members and they did verify, yes, she was found. I didn't push beyond that other than to let them know we'd be praying for them because no matter what happened, now is a time of healing. Okay, again, seriously, doesn't matter what happened. The fact that she's home, okay, there's healing, there's emotions and stuff like that that need to be gone through. So, yeah, happy belated 4th. Hope you guys all had an awesome evening with fireworks. We had fireworks everywhere in the neighborhood. Oh my God. The dogs were going ballistic all night. And we got patriotism in the house. Yes, patriotism all around, but definitely right. The hey, patriotism, how you doing? And also, we were in fact just talking about Caleb, a patriotism, and I. And there's Mo. Hello, 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 Mo. How you doing? Um, Great news on Estefani though. Amazing news that she is safe. She is found. Yeah, it's important. Just facts. We do, and the longer I do this, the more I feel I do talk speculation, but it's important for us all to realize speculation is speculation, and it also does come with responsibility to recognizing it is speculation and it is just opinion. And an opinion is just an opinion. It's not something to get mad at someone else if they have a different opinion. Okay, I'm getting on a soapbox. And oh, Van, how you doing, Van? I love you. Love you, love you, love you, my dear. And in the bushes was saying all my neighbors are shooting fireworks all night too. See, that's us in Hawaii. It's fireworks nonstop. Like I said on Wednesday, I think it was over at Sleuths. There was a point where I was out on Sunday having dinner with friends, and all of a sudden there's this full aerial exhibition going on. Okay, firework, firework, firework. And I'm like, whoa, where's the hotel? And I'm like, wait, I'm on the west side. This is normal for the west side. So, and your internet is being bad. Okay, well, guys, just so you know, a lot of you guys have been sending me notes throughout the week. Chris has sent me notes. Patriotism has sent me notes. Amy has sent me notes with different stories that have been coming around throughout the week. And I wanted to pull those in, so we will. In fact, one of the biggies that I actually had not been looking at is one of the first cases we're going to talk about. I want to bring this case up first here because this case I found last night, and I was so excited when I heard about this. Basically, a Michigan teenager who was found. His family thought he had been killed. In fact, it looks like they had put him down under murdered cases, presumed murdered cases, and he was found. And thanks to Twitch, he was found. So it's really, really, I was so happy about that. So let's start with that, and then we're going to go through a number of cases. Like you guys know, Friday is let's try to get as many cases in as we can. So let's go through this real quick, starting with this case. So as I mentioned to you, okay, I came across this on News Nation. Troy Coleman actually had been missing, as it says, for 3 months here. So let's go through. I mean, really handsome young man dealing with health issues. Okay, as we find so often. You did hear about this case? I should have expected. You know about all the cases, girl. Literally, you know. Okay, if I ever have a question, Amy is one of the people that I can count on one hand that I will go to and say, hey, have you heard anything about this? And chances are she has. And so this is amazing. It was a 17-year-old boy who had been missing, okay, for 3 months. He was found in Miami. For those of you who know Twitch, okay, put a 1 in chat if you guys ever hang out on Twitch. And his name is Troy Coleman, JP. And I used to hang out on Twitch, actually before I hung out here on YouTube. During COVID lockdown time, I would sit there on Asmongold's group. I played World of Warcraft. Okay, I love to sit there on different Twitch players, and I watch things and all that. So what happened in this case is that Troy went missing in May from Michigan. Okay, he is supposed to take medication for schizophrenia, and wasn't. Something we hear quite often, especially in the missing person community. However, last week, okay, people were on Twitch, and it turns out this gentleman, Troy, was there. Okay, a content producer who goes by the name of Faze Lacey, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, was streaming with a friend known as Clicks last week in Miami. During that stream, Lacey focused on a shirtless boy in green trunks that was mingling in the crowd. A few days later, Lacey found this note in her email. Just picture this happen. Hello, my name is Trent Coleman, and my missing little brother from Michigan, was on Clicks and Lacey Stream in Miami. He is not on drugs. He is schizophrenic. He has been missing for 3 months, and his case was put on homicide in Michigan. His family thought he was dead. His family was living the nightmare of thinking that their son, their brother, had been killed by someone, and they just hadn't been able to find him. Okay, and this is just another, and we're going to have a couple cases tonight that are like this, where people are thinking one thing and yet something else happened. Same was with Estefani. We had people all over the place on Estefani's case. You had some saying run away, some saying, oh, the family did it, the family did it. You had other people who were saying, well, you know what, including me. Okay, she could have been grabbed and trafficked or so. That's why I say an opinion is just an opinion, guys. And but can you imagine? Exactly. It's mind-blowing. Meds are important. And that's the thing. Any of us who follow missing people recognize this type of story over and over and over. It happens all the time. But oh my God, this happening is just, oh, his family. I'm so happy for his family. Lacey assumes the homicide comment to mean that police believe that Troy was a victim of homicide. On his X page, Lacey said it looks like the story has a happy ending. Yesterday on stream, he came up to me in Clicks, and now his family knows he's alive and in Miami. I wasn't sure if I should make this public, but I'm hoping somehow this helps him be found for his family. So his family now know. Okay, so it doesn't look like he's home now, but his family now know he's alive, that he's safe. And that's what's important. When people leave, their family are left with the nightmare of not knowing. And so now they kind of have a better idea. Police can pick up and kind of get a better idea of where he was. Now, again, this is a case of someone who is older and has the choice to disappear. So probably police aren't going to be looking as much. But at least the family know. If the family have a PI involved, the PI is able to now get new ideas of where to go and all. So this is huge. And this is the example of why we are out there. We are out there sharing pictures, all of that over and over and over, not just once, but as many times as we can do it. Okay, in hopes that someone's going to recognize something. And Mo is saying, I like hearing good. Yeah, it's good for us to. Yeah, there's way too many bad. Oh my gosh, the number of bad endings, especially we go in these cycles, and when they hit, you got to hold on to the good ones. Okay, and this is one that is good. Okay, it will be even better when he is home with his family. And for all we know, he may be at this point. Again, when you're dealing with runaways or someone who goes away on their own volition, it's not necessarily our job to have the whole story, as long as we know they're safe. That's all that matters. That's how I feel about Estefani right now. Okay, I don't need to know the ins and outs of what happened. That's her family. That's, yes, law enforcement, because, okay, one of the things that did, and I will address, okay, Estefani right now, they did find her. It did come out today that she was found. The reason why I think I feel safe enough to say that she most likely ran away. There was a comment on one of the search and rescue groups from that area, Oklahoma City Search and Rescue, reminding people that harboring a person who has run away, someone who was underage and has run away, is a crime, and it will be charged as a crime. That reminder kind of leads me to thinking, again, opinion, okay, that's what happened. And it's a good reminder for everyone. How many other potential runaways are out there who are, thank God, in a safe environment, but their family don't know that. And their family needs to know that. Okay, yes, there are other runaways that are in danger every minute of the day. Every minute of the day. So yeah, just keeping that family, her on. guys, what happened to them as a family, and I'm just going to say this right now. Okay, people jump to conclusions quickly. Yes, we speculate, but our speculation should never take an approach where it hurts other people. Okay, red flags are red flags, but making phone calls to a family, okay, trying to make the family look worse and things like that. No, there's no excuse, guys. And that was done in this case. It truly was done in this case. And yeah, schizophrenia is a horrible disease in the case of, okay, the gentleman, Troy. And there's a lot of people who do go missing that are dealing with schizophrenia. And if once you stop your meds, it becomes a huge issue. And um, let's see, I'm going to launch my new YouTube channel called Watch Me Try and Mod Live. Oh my God. That's, you know what? When I used to just do modding only, I used to think, oh gosh, we need some, okay, some good channels to show people how to mod and do this and do that. I would watch that. I would so watch that. So, and what did Mo say? I hope nobody takes it. Yeah. And that's the problem because they are in, if you are schizophrenic, you can be in a very vulnerable state. Okay. Any mental health issue, autism, all these different issues that sometimes will lead to someone running it away gets you in a very dangerous place. So, okay. I'm going to let me see which screen do I end up sharing next? Actually, let's do this. I am going to move us to what I wanted to. This case got brought up to me this morning, actually. Was it this morning, Amy, or last night? Amy mentioned to me about this young woman, 13 years old, not a young woman even, okay, barely a teenager, who last year, about 9 months ago, took her own life. She was in junior high and had been suffering from bullying, something that we hear so often happening out there. And it was today. Thank you, Amy. The days are blurring together. She had been being bullied. And the more I looked into this today, and we are going to cover other cases too here. This one's going to take a little longer because so much of this none of us know about. It seems like the school has issues with bullying. Guys, let's be realistic. Most schools have issues with bullying. It's how they deal with it that's what matters. Bullying is going to happen. This 13-year-old, however, had been bullied to the extent where she took her own life. And her mother decided to bring attention to bullying. Okay, bring attention. There were, okay, she focused actually, and her focus was more or less on the mental health side of things. Okay, not, okay, this is what happened, do. The problem occurs once that happened. A lot of the internet went into their mode of naming the 4 girls that were involved in the bullying, and attacking of those girls. Now, I'm saying number one, bullying has no excuse. But one of the things I will always stand for is that us as viewers do not have the, okay, we should not be going and taking justice into our own hands. Okay, doxing. Okay, one of these girls was doxed. There were sexual pictures being put out of them. There's all sorts of stuff. Okay, now on the other hand, these girls also never were held responsible for what happened. And that's what upset people. Exactly. As Amy is saying, one of the girls, and this is part of the problem, one of the girls, her father was the superintendent of the school district. And it wasn't just this case that was involving bullying, Aubreigh Wyatt's case that involved bullying. Okay. One of the things we're going to see as we go through these couple videos I have here is multiple other people stepping up saying, this has been an issue for me. And Aubrey's mom, Heather, stepping up and talking about mental health and stuff was actually giving hope to other teenagers, other victims of bullies. The problem is because of what was happening to these four girls, okay, what they did wrong, the response, guys, we've got to watch it. They're children too. We need to let other, I don't know. It's a hard one to address. And but the problem is now their families have stepped up and sued, okay, Aubrey's mom. Aubrey's mom has been told now she can't even speak on her own daughter's death, on the bullying that led to her daughter's death. She can't even speak on that. Okay, which I got news for you. First of all, it's bringing attention to bullying, which is helping other children. Second of all, it is helping her heal. And that's important. And now we've got an extra issue. She's being told, pull everything down, pull all your websites down, pull all your messages down, things like that. Everything should be disappearing off the internet. Well, you can't. And this is what the family of four girls don't realize. You can't stop the internet when the internet starts talking about something, especially justice related. People will speak up for justice, right or wrong. Okay, they will speak up for these things. And just because one person is legally stopped doesn't mean those other people can be legally stopped. They're going to post their messages. They're going to do their videos. Some of them are completely wrong in how they're approaching the videos. Okay, some of them are doing them in very, very respectable ways. And that's the thing that I wish we as a community would recognize. But yeah, no mother should ever be legally, and that's where that's where I stepped up on this one today, because the fact that a mom cannot even speak up about her little girl, okay, and the events that led to her death. And the reason why she can't speak up about this is because of how other people are doing stuff. And I hate to say it, okay, people who don't, there's a part of me, a gut part of me that wants to say there are people who don't want this being discussed. So if you don't want things to be discussed, you just hush it. And that's what I'm finding as I'm looking at this case more and more, is that people are being hushed. Okay, we don't want to address that this is still an issue involving bullying in the school district. And that needs to be addressed. Okay, it's not that, yeah, exactly. Blaming mom for what other people have done is wrong. Maybe what we need to be doing is addressing the people who are doing the wrong things on the internet, not trying to go, okay, to the one person that can, yeah. But anyhow, let me pull this up. We're going to pull this up. I got two videos I wanted to show to begin with. This is the video the day after Aubreigh unalived herself. Her school coming together, all these 7th and 8th grade kids who are having to realize that one of their friends is no longer going to be with them. And all. So here we go.
Ocean Springs community came together and held a candlelight vigil for Aubreigh Wyatt. Jacoby Rivers was at that vigil, joins us now here in the studio.
That's right, Amber. Tonight was a night for remembering Wyatt, a daughter, friend, and a classmate. Take a look.
Okay, like I said, first I want to make sure. Okay, we're still up. Okay. There's a little bit of music here.
Aubreigh Wyatt came together to remember the teen.
Okay, I'm just going to cut that off for just a second. One of the things they did was actually remember her by playing some of the music she loved. Okay, they pulled out the candles and they had their candlelight service, and teenagers love music. That's one of the things we did back in our teenage years, is we had playlist after playlist, okay, mixtapes, all that. That's what they did, was they played, and one of the songs you hear them play is Taylor Swift. She was a Swiftie, you can tell automatically just with that one song. Okay, Our Song is what is being played in the background right there, and I had to delete because of that. So continuing on now.
Somebody that you could go to anytime that, you were upset, and she would always console you.
Destiny Skinner describes Wyatt as a friendly person who was always happy. She says when the family heard the news of her passing, they were in shock. Skinner says, like many parents, she is teaching her kids on how to handle a bully, but also worries.
At some point in the bully's life, they had gotten hurt, and so they want other people to hurt like they are. And so I try to remind them of that.
She is also a teacher in the Ocean Springs school system and says she provides a safe environment for her students by providing positive words.
If they ever feel like they, don't have somewhere safe to go to or someone safe to turn to, I always tell them that they can come to me with anything.
A similar message.
If I get this, and Amy, tell me if I'm incorrect, because I am pulling a lot of this together last minute on her. Her mom was also part of the school district also. So this seems like a fairly small area where a lot of people, they know each other. And that's the problem when you deal with bully type cases. A lot of times people know each other, but in this case, the people who know each other are all people involved in the system to begin with. And unfortunately, in this case, not only involved in the system, but leading the system in the case of one of the parents.
Message was shared by a local pastor.
Your words are going to build people up,
Yes.
or your words are going to tear people down.
Mike DeMauro is the pastor from Mosaic Church in Harrison County. He says the church holds an event once a month to give both teens and parents the space they need for help.
We know that times like this that can be really difficult, especially on our teenagers who maybe don't know how to process, difficult things that happen in this world.
Both Skinner and DeMauro says they hope parents can take the time to talk with their children on what's bothering them and to let them know they are not alone.
You need to teach them to be kind, and that, the whole saying, sticks and stones, words do hurt, and they stay with you for the rest of your life.
What we don't want kids.
A long time. And yeah, that is it? Seal, is this from where? Oh, okay. Hey, yeah, you and I got to talk some more so I could get more of it. And that's been part of the thing that I'm even noticing right now is that there are still some, okay, let me know if I'm getting anything wrong. Okay, I also realize there's two sides to every story. But from what I'm seeing right now, one of the things that seems to be upsetting most of internet land, okay, and is the fact that these kids have not taken responsibility whatsoever. No, can they be held responsible for a death? No, we all make decisions, okay? It takes a lot of different things, okay? Suicide is an action, okay? Unaliving yourself is an action that you take on your own, okay? But one of the things we should be teaching our children is to acknowledge when they may have done something wrong that could have added to other issues. Okay, in Aubreigh's case, she was dealing with depression, things like that. And but bullying is not making it easier, that's for sure, and could be that thing that pushes. And that's why we talk about not going and doing stuff that is unkind. Okay. And yeah, that's part of my issue right there. The kids are still, I did actually see a couple, okay, TikToks and stuff like that, where the children that are involved, the girls, okay, are still making fun. Yep, there you go. So you talk, yeah, the girls, especially one and her sibling, are making fun of her death. And yet the parents, instead of holding their child responsible and saying, okay, you know what, maybe these kids don't even, internet might not even be the right place for them at this point. Okay, maybe we need to be taking away their internet. Okay, monitoring, and if they're caught doing stuff, taking that away from them. Because right now, they seem to be getting away with that. And that's what's upsetting people so much, is the children involved in this continue that. There are still children who are out there saying and doing, okay, sorry, Astro, I've been talking with family. She was found. I don't know if I've gotten the thing on trafficking. I will verify that. I was getting some information on runaway stuff, but I will try to verify so that I can make sure I get the right information out. I'm also not pushing the family to tell me what actually happened to them, other than the fact that she is safe. And she is safe right now. And that's my priority. But thank you for letting me know. Right now, the fact that there are people making fun of this girl, and it's like we're going to hush mama, but these children continue playing games with it. Okay. Aubreigh's mom had been pleading with everyone to stop it. Yes, and that's part of this. Mom had stepped up and said, guys, we need to stop it. We need to stop focusing on these girls that were doing the bullying, and instead let's focus on bullying in general. How can we stop it? How can we have children get support who are being bullied? And she's received the messages from people saying, thank you, you've actually saved me. I was thinking about doing the same thing, and I'm now here, and I'm going to stay here because of that. But instead, you have people shutting her down now, where she cannot even support that. And yes, yep, Jelly Roll and all is considering getting involved now. Okay, and in reality, shutting mom down is actually going to make this louder. I probably would not have even covered it if it hadn't been for the fact that now you have things progressing to a new level and all. So, going to real quickly switch us over to the next video in this. And this is actually the day after the candlelight service. My question when I see issues like this is what's being done? Because I realize, for example, as a nursing home administrator, okay, people will come to me and they'll say, oh yeah, nursing homes are horrible. They have abuse. They have pressure ulcers. They have this, they have that. And I'm like, yeah, some of them do, but not all. They work hard. For example, abuse is not acceptable whatsoever. Does it happen? Hell yeah. And when it happens, we take care of it. And so I see something like bullying in this case, very much like that. Unfortunately, bullying is going to happen. What's important is how we address it as adults, how we deal with it. Do we hush it, or do we address it? And just because we're addressing it, are we addressing it in the right way? The courts are wrong in this case, plain and simple. I agree with you. Okay, courts are wrong in this case. People have put the girl's address out and everything. Yeah, those are the people who need to be held accountable. Those are the people, the ones who are sitting there sharing addresses out, doing the things that are despicable. No matter who they're doing, okay, it is despicable and they need to be held responsible, not mom. Okay, it's easy to control mom. It's harder to actually hold the people responsible that need to be held responsible. And also, so anyhow, I kind of looked to see what other stuff was out there. And this video popped up, which really kind of surprised me how many others are saying, hey, yeah, this is a major issue here. It is a small town. That's what my gut was saying. I didn't look at census yet, but I was getting the feeling it was a very small town. Okay, but here we go.
LOX News Now.
Now, Harper also spoke
Sorry,
with...
you can tell I was in the middle of this when I
In
started
Ocean
it.
Springs schools, bullying now under a microscope after the death of a 13-year-old middle school student.
Aubreigh Wyatt's mother used social media to blame bullying for her daughter's death. The Ocean Springs schools...
Now, just to clarify, as you guys see here, this was 9 months ago. Initially, yes, she came out. And yeah, her daughter unalived herself, and one of the main reasons for that was bullying. But since then, she's also stepped up and said, hey guys, this is not about the 4 girls here. This is about bullying in general. And so I do want to address that, because that is okay. it has changed as time goes on.
Superintendent telling us today the district investigates 100% of bullying reports. We'll hear from him in just a bit.
But first, parents and former students.
Yeah, in the bushes. Yeah, you got beat up. Okay, yeah, I've been on the receiving end too, and that it is interesting how that comes. I do have to realize dementia, they don't hold the thing, and that's another. I'd love to someday, maybe we'll do a discussion about dementia, because it's a hard thing for families to deal with. And I've actually considered coming and talking about that a few times, and because it affects so many of our lives. And you blame the parents of the kids because they are silencing the wrong I agree. Okay, they're blaming the mom who has lost their daughter for the fact that their child bullied another child, and now people are coming after them in ways they should not be coming after them. Go after the people who are coming after your daughter. The problem is, we all know based off of the internet how hard it is to go after people because of cyber stuff. That's an issue that needs to be addressed by our country in general. Okay, the cyber harassment and bullying is a major issue, and we need to address laws and take steps towards that, because otherwise people are just trying to find blame wherever they can actually get blame at this point. Yeah, she was her oh my God, her mom deserves the chance to be able to heal also, and to make a difference in other children's lives, as far as I'm concerned. The parents actually should have stopped the kids and continue to stop the kids, but they don't. There's still comments. Okay, you can see people come into chats saying, oh yeah, your sister, okay, is responsible for Aubreigh's death. And you can see them saying, oh, we're not going to talk about that. And then you kind of hear the giggling going on at the same time. They're not taking it seriously. Your grandpa, it's so hard. It's so hard. Someday we need to come and discuss that. Aubreigh's mom went to the school several times during the year trying to get it stopped. Yep. And those are the things that Aubreigh's mom isn't trying to even discuss at this point. She's just trying to get the word out, okay, that there is hope after bullying. Okay, and she can't even do that now. She can't. This is one thing I've always said. If something tragic happens in my life, I want to be able to turn that tragedy into something positive. Okay, I would hope, and I've had, okay, for example, okay, I'm a survivor, things like that, and I want to turn that into something positive rather than staying in a victimhood mode. And so you've got a young woman here, her mom, who is a young woman in my eyes, like, well, she's a woman in my eyes, okay, who can't even do that. She can't even try to find something good out of her daughter's death. That's not acceptable.
Students who gathered outside middle school today to say enough is enough. Harper Robinson joins us now to share their stories.
We will be your voice.
Vanessa Owens says she was a victim of bullying during her time at Ocean Springs Middle School. She says change begins with the adults.
I think it's going to have to start with the administration. I know with my instance, we brought documents and evidence. We even had a psychologist that told them this child needs to leave y'all's school or she will not be here tomorrow.
Owens' mother, Carla, says middle school for her daughter was a nightmare, something that still sticks with Vanessa years later.
She's 27. That was 2010, so she still carries the scars of being harassed, being bullied, being not good enough, being too overweight, being to anything.
Kendall Weiss is a recent graduate of Ocean Springs High. She describes her experience at Ocean Springs Middle as horrible.
I got bullied for talking too much. I got called annoying. I got threatened in the hallways.
Weiss says her experience was so bad, she cringes at just the sight of the school.
Like every time I walk see it, I look away because I'm almost ashamed of going to middle school. Every time I reported it or something, nothing happened.
Both Owens and Weiss agree that something needs to be done. They are both happy that they were able to be a voice for victims today. In Ocean Springs, Harper Robinson, WLOX News Now.
Now, Harper also spoke with Ocean Springs Superintendent Michael Lindsay today about.
I do want to give the opportunity for the other side to say what they've been doing, okay, because they do address that they have been trying to do things, okay, and like I said, as a nursing home administrator, I would always put procedures in place to address the things that, you know, there are dirt bags in society. There's no way of getting rid of all the dirt bags. They are going to affect your life at some time, so it's how we address it. The problem is, it looks like this place has an issue, okay, and that issue has been going on for quite a while. 10 years ago in one girl's point, just recently on another, and then within days on the one who unalives herself. Okay, so you have to address it, and they say they have addressed it, so I do want to give them the ability to tell you
to ask about how students can report bullying incidents.
We try to put things in place so that they can report it and they feel comfortable reporting it. To our counselors, students or adults or parents can report it to our counselors, our administrators, teachers, any other trusted adult. We have statement forms that they can come in and write something down, and we'll address it that way. We also have, in an anonymous way, that they can go onto our home webpage, and they can report a bullying incident from there, which goes to the administrators that it needs to go to, and I actually get a copy of that as well, so I can monitor each one of those as they come in, and it goes to several administrators and health professionals so that we can address that. Sometimes they come in at 5 o'clock at night, sometimes in the afternoon, sometimes they come in at midnight, and we make sure that we address 100% of those and investigate.
Lindsay said in the 2022-23 school year, Ocean Springs Middle received 37 reports of bullying. So far this year, 6 reports have been filed. Lindsay could not provide any details about the reports or how they were addressed.
That's the issue right there. That's the issue right there. They've got systems in place. They do. And actually, I'm kind of impressed with the system itself. Okay, having a place people can come and report at any time of the day. It goes out to multiple people and stuff like that. So then what becomes important is what happens to that data after the fact. Once it comes in, do you sit there and say, oh yeah, okay, I'll just let the teachers know, keep an eye out for so-and-so, and okay, that's handled. Is that what's happening? What is happening? What are the reports? Now, having reports like this, important. Okay, from this time to this time, there were 37 incidents. From this time on, okay, there were that. And that would have been 9 months ago. So 9 months ago would have been about, so that was maybe about 3 months worth of time, I'm guessing. And also, that's good. Okay, but what about reporting? Is there a way that as parents, and I'm not a parent, okay, I get it, but I suspect most parents would want to know, okay, how can they report? What types of bullying is it? Okay, what is being done? How many times is someone suspended? How many times is someone, okay, is it just going to the parents and saying, hey, your child is doing this? Because you know what, I hate to say it. How many times have we seen it where parents don't actually do anything? Okay, we see the cases now. Yes, there are some parents who will definitely hold their child responsible. But how many times have we heard about cases? Let me know in chat, guys. Okay, where a parent is told, well, your child has done this. I remember this back when I used to teach. Okay, I'd say something to a parent and the parent's like, oh yeah, they're just rambunctious or stuff like that. Okay, so there's a lot of different, and yeah, is a particular child is it a repeat? Those are things that were important. Knowing, okay, for example, on, okay, abuse, one of the things I would look at is there a certain person who, okay, keeps having their name thrown out over and over? Or is there a victim who keeps being looked? Because I got news for you. A person who is dealing with dementia and has no way of speaking up is at higher risk than someone who is like me and just might be in the facility because I broke a hip, for example. So I have different things I need to look at. You've got to look at all of these cases, okay? Because right now the problem is you are hearing repetition, repeat issues with bullying. It should not take a young girl, a 13-year-old, unaliving herself for it to finally come to the public's. Okay. And yeah, what can teachers do if you can't enforce the rules or discipline? If from leadership down, it's not pushed. If leadership takes it as just, oh, it's a report, we got a report, and yay, we got a report, you know what? Your teachers are going to look to leadership. And I will say, if your leadership involves one of the bullies, that's going to say something. And I will say this. It's hard being the child of someone who is held to that higher standard. My dad was held to a higher standard because of where he was in the military. Okay, some of you may have parents who maybe they're in in government, or maybe they run companies or things like that. But something like this, it is hard. Okay, because I knew I had to. My dad, for example, would run the base. I knew if I did not behave on that base, my dad would find out. And if my dad found out, I'd find out very quickly what that meant. Okay, no, my dad did not abuse me whatsoever, but I also knew the expectations of behavior, just standard human behavior. But if your child is the one that people are saying is one of the worst abusers, then you have a responsibility to hold them responsible and do something about it. And so Trishy is saying maybe they need to do some proactive measures. Yeah, instead of reactive, because it does seem like there is a lot of reaction on it. Okay, what can be done? Respect starts at home. Exactly. The fact that their response to all this right now is trying to shut mom up, okay, while their own children continue talking about the case, says something. Okay, and it's stuff that their children will look at and say, oh, well, this is what dad's doing, or say, or what you're even saying privately. As I've gotten older, I've found things that my dad never would have said to me when I was younger about my behavior or my brother's behavior. But in talking to my mom, I find out more to the story, but they never would have said things. So not sure if that's making sense what I'm saying. Dad needs to stay, because it is. It's heartbreaking right now that this mom is in this position. And mom cannot say things. What will happen and is happening is now more people are speaking up, because you can't stop everyone, especially if you are reporting things in a fair, respectable way. It is not all right to do a lot of what's happening to these 4 girls. Okay, sending pictures that, okay, put them into sexual type things, which I hear has happened in this case. Okay, doxing, threats on these girls' lives, that's not acceptable. And that has to stop. And we as the internet, we as social media people need to say no. Enough's enough. Wrong is wrong, right is right. That's all there is to it. So it's a small clicky. That's what I was kind of getting the idea of. So anyhow, okay, so that one's done. So now, why is this an issue? This is why, and we kind of addressed this a little bit, but let's give you a little bit more detailed information on it now. This came out today, actually. It's been updated today. It came out yesterday, but it has been now updated. Okay. A judge has apparently ordered Heather, mom, to take down her social media accounts, which include posts about the unaliving of her daughter, Aubreigh. An emergency order posted on TikTok and Facebook says she must temporarily take down all of her social media accounts, quote, to protect the minor children involved in this case. The case, which appears in the electronic case file for Jackson County Chancery Court, was filed against Wyatt by the parents of 4 girls accused of bullying Aubreigh, who attended Ocean Springs Middle School. While the parties are listed in the court record, the case documents, motion judge orders, and other records are sealed from public view. And that's part of the problem here. When you're dealing with children, so many things are private and held from public view for good reason. But the problem is it gives people the ability to change narratives and focus on different types of narratives without having the facts as they are right in front of you. So no other information is available about the contents. It is unclear how the emergency order, which appears to be authentic, wound up online. To protect the identities of the minor girls, the Sun Herald is not naming the parents who filed the lawsuit. The problem in this case, and most of these cases, is the moment Aubreigh unalived herself and mom spoke up about bullying, everyone knows. You got a small town. Everyone knows everyone. It's like the Kansas moms. Everyone in those communities knows about, those that are now in jail about it. Everyone talks. And is this 4 years ago? Because I thought I saw a lot of the things were like 9 months. I need to double check the dates on this. And this makes you so Heather needs to sue for wrongful death. Yeah, and that could be what's coming up next. These children need to be held accountable. And that's it. That's my thing. I think that's where a lot of people get angry, is the wrong people are being held accountable right now. But all 4 girls have been targeted by name on social media. Everyone knows who they are. They themselves have come out. And that's the other side of it. They themselves have spoken about this stuff. Especially on TikTok, and we know how that can become, and threatened because of her death. None of the threats have come from Heather, and that's what's important to recognize here. None of the threats have come from her. She has specifically stayed away from naming it and connecting anger to the 4 girls. She has also never mentioned any of them on social media. While she talked about Aubreigh being bullied after she found her daughter dead in her room on Labor Day, Wyatt has even stopped talking online about the bullying. Her videos instead have focused on mental health and the grief suffered by her and her 2 surviving children. I think bullying is a subject that needs to be addressed, but I don't want to create hate for anyone. So I chose to focus on mental health side of it. She's a former Ocean Springs teacher. And that's what I was getting at earlier. I thought I had read that somewhere. Here's where I read it. Mom herself. So not only is dad of one of the other girls the superintendent, but mom herself was a teacher in this area. Who then did resign months after her death. I felt like that would be helpful, and it would also not cause any animosity or conflict to any other individuals. It is. It's the ultimate form of gaslighting by this judge and by the family. And it's not her fault that the first thing that popped up when Aubreigh unalived herself, that everyone locally was able to say, yeah, of course, she's been being bullied for how long and no one's done anything about it. That's the reason why the girls have been named by it. It was their actions that led to people being able to point fingers. But again, we've got the same thing we run into here on YouTube with the families of missing people. People get into this thing where they take on justice on their own. We are not responsible for justice, guys. Our opinions are our opinions. It's not something where we have a right to go after someone. And yes, the girls have not been held responsible, and that's sickening, but it's not up to us to hold them responsible at this point. And let's see, going on. Did cyberbullying lead to suicide? So Wyatt did call for justice for Aubreigh, but later said on social media that police were no longer pursuing the case, at least partly because Aubreigh was not alive to testify. Ocean Springs Police Chief said the Wyatt investigation was completed and the results were then turned over to youth court, which found no evidence of criminal wrongdoing. Heather Wyatt did file a lawsuit against social media companies, saying cyberbullying led to her death. Wyatt and her children have tried to go on with their lives. They visit her grave on Sundays, recently celebrated Taylor's 16th, her sister's birthday, activities Heather Wyatt has shared on TikTok, the only social media where she has been active recently. Last week, and I've seen this video, guys, and it is beyond heartbreaking to watch. One of her TikToks did go viral. Hi, Lioness. How you doing, my dear? Heather and her daughter spoke on the day they found Aubreigh and only spoke of what they did and wouldn't talk about her death, how she died. Yeah. And this video, I think they talk about it here. Wyatt said long ago that the family had found no note from Aubreigh after her death. Note, unaliving note. That changed last week. Heather Wyatt was videoing herself on her phone as she packed Aubreigh's room for a family move. They're moving to a new home. In the video, you see Mom scream and burst into tears as she picks up a sealed envelope that Aubreigh had addressed to family members. The video then cuts to envelopes laid out on the floor, each decorated with a hand-drawn heart and most signed Aubs. So it looks like she did actually leave a note to family, each of her family members. And they were not found at the time of her death. It attracted more than 93 million page views and boosted Heather Wyatt's following to more than 900,000 accounts. Wyatt told the Sun Herald this week that she found the letters in a box of cards and other memorabilia in Aubreigh's closet. The family hadn't previously noticed the envelopes among all the others stored in the box, but Wyatt said she was sorting through them closely to decide what to take during the move. So it sounds to me like Aubreigh wrote these letters to say goodbye to her family and put them in this memorabilia box, thinking that her family might go through that box initially, and her family probably did not feel they could emotionally go through that box at the time of memorabilia and all. It was too hard, and it's taken a while for them to get to that point. Aubreigh had left notes for Heather, Taylor, Riker, Heather's boyfriend, Jeff, who was like a father to Aubreigh, and one last letter addressed to everyone. Heather is not ready to discuss what was in those notes, other than to tell the Sun Herald that the ever-thoughtful Aubreigh let family members know they could have whatever possessions they wanted, which, as all of us know, is a huge sign of unaliving. And what we got here, Amy said they silenced a mother who used TikTok for her grieving. That's it. And I've seen that done before. There's a woman that I used to follow whose little girl was pretty much killed by too much Benadryl here in Hawaii by a daycare provider. And she would use TikTok to grieve. She literally had videos of her saying goodbye to her daughter on TikTok, and people would try to shut that down because they didn't want to see it out there. And she could probably sue the school too for neglecting to take action. Yeah. And that's why those reports are so important. What did they do about all of these reports when Mom would go and report that her daughter was being abused? Okay, she needs to sue everyone, especially after being silenced. Yeah, now that she's silent, she has no other choice but to do that. And which is sad. You heard about that case too? Yeah, I saw the video because she actually never got to say goodbye to her daughter, this other case, because she was at the daycare when they came and picked her up and her body up. And it wasn't until later, after the autopsy and all that was done, that she was able to hold her baby and say goodbye. And that was one of the hardest videos I've ever seen, to be honest. It was hard to read, but it provided us with another sense of love from Aubreigh. We got to feel Aubrey's compassion and love again. As Wyatt's TikTok following has grown, so have accounts from other users with names such as LLAW, which stands for Live Like Aubreigh, a hashtag family and friends started using after her death on social media, bracelets, and t-shirts. The people behind the accounts are unknown. Some talk about justice for Aubreigh. Other commenters have left outright or implied threats and hateful comments about the girls who they believe were bullying Aubreigh. At least one of the girls accused of bullying Aubreigh has even been doxxed, with her home address listed repeatedly in comments. That's not right, guys. That's not right. Heather Wyatt said she has nothing to do with these accounts. Her own TikTok account is no longer available. Before it was taken down, she posted a video that explained why she was sharing her personal experience with unaliving. She featured notes from young people and others that were touched by her videos. As a result of her TikToks, Wyatt said she received thousands of messages from people who told her, "I've decided to stay." So her actions after her daughter died have saved other children. These families have decided to shut her up. So she now can't even save those other families. So in another way, it's more bullying. And in my eyes, yes, I agree with them that their daughter should not be going through a lot of what that is happening. But you know what? They're now bullying the mom rather than going after the people that are actually doing the wrong stuff. And what area of the country is this? This is, I'm forgetting okay, Ocean City. Is it Florida? Sorry, guys. Ocean City, oh, wait, Mississippi. This is Mississippi. And so, yeah. And so now they just show their children, hey, you know what? It's okay to bully. It's okay to do this. It's okay to shut people up if they're saying something you don't like. Just do it in any way you can. Not right. Not right whatsoever. And so I did want to share that. Amy brought it to my attention, and it's a huge, huge case. Okay, that I think, and I'm really hoping Jelly Roll addresses it, okay, and brings it to attention, because her mom was doing good. Her mom was truly helping people. And now all those people that she may have been able to help won't get the help. And so if we need to come back and look at her case in the future and all, we will definitely continue to do that. Just let me know where the interest is with that. I do hope she appeals, and we'll see what comes of that whole case. So moving on. No, I do not hit settings. I go and I hit this. Oh, Bunny has a true crime podcast and says I'm so happy. And maybe we do need to look, because there is something in that. It's good to tell the truth about people and to bring justice. Does matter. Justice does matter, but it's how we go about doing things. It's how you go about the justice. Two wrongs don't make a right. I tell people that all the time. I say that quite often, okay, to people. I remind myself of that all the time. And but it's what's being done to this mom. No, it's wrong, plain and simple. And so, okay, let's go to probably a good story, one that I'm very, very happy about. How many of you guys have heard about Operation We Will Find You Part 2? Put a 1 in chat if you heard about Operation We Will Find You Part 2. And while I take a drink of, not coffee, hot tea. Operation We Will Find You Part 2 is actually, let's say, aha, we got a 1 in chat already popping up. Good. last year, I think it was, there was another one of these where U.S. Marshals went out trying to address trafficking. And Tricia has an awesome, good. And so there's a little bit of both. And I did not know they had a second one out. I had heard about the first one, but never heard of the second one. And this got sent to me by a couple different people. And they literally found 200 missing children in a 6-week operation where they had their operatives, getting involved in trafficking out there, making phone calls, talking to people privately behind the scenes, things like that. And they were able to find multiple children, multiple teenagers. I talked last week, one of the ones found in this case had been trafficked before. And as part of that trafficking, she had been saved, brought home. She was in a halfway house at the time. She disappeared again. She found herself being trafficked a second time. She had been taken from where the state she was in to California, where the person who was in charge of her trafficking was then killed. And then she was sent to Florida. And then from Florida, she was sent to another state. And so I was like, wait, Amy, didn't you send me this? I thought you were one of the ones who sent me this. So let's watch this real quickly. This was from News Nation.
Welcome back, everyone. There are an estimated 2,300 children missing every day in America. That means a child goes missing or is abducted in this country, in the United States, every 40 seconds. Last year, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children worked on nearly 29.
Look at those numbers. Last year, 29,000 missing people. Children, I guess. Yeah, this is just children. 29,000 children. We're not talking about the 23-year-old, 24-year-old, 40, 50, 60, 80-year-olds with dementia or anything. We're talking about children here. Of those, 25,000 were resolved. 3,580 still active. And this is why I ask, why the hell is it that we get so focused on one case? And I'm not going to get totally into it, but to the point where we have to make up evidence and just to keep a story going. We have to fabricate stuff just to keep it going in our lives and everything, because God forbid we can't find one other case. Okay, and this is just missing people. This isn't even true crime in general. So, sorry, off my,
9,000 cases. Today, 90% of those cases are resolved. The U.S. Marshals Service wanted to raise that number to 100. It has a special task force to find missing children before they end up being trafficked into gangs, prostitution, or even worse. The task force just wrapped up its second ever nationwide operation, and News Nation was there for the ride. News Nation correspondent Evan Lambert joining Marshals to see them in action. Joining us now, Evan, what an exciting story. Tell us more.
Hannah, the U.S. Marshals are already the best equipped federal law enforcement agency to track down fugitives. For more than the last month, though, they used those skills to find dozens of missing and endangered children.
Yep, exactly.
To blame. It should have been the adults that carried that shame and blame, not children.
40 years ago, Ophelia Flores survived the horrors of human trafficking. She was treated as a criminal and not the child victim she was. Now, the U.S. Marshals.
Let me remind you, most trafficking victims, a huge number of them start off as runaways. I don't know what the statistic is on that, but it's big.
Are on a mission to prevent other young people from experiencing the damage of sex trafficking, drugs, or a life of crime.
This should be a priority for the country, is that we have, unfortunately, hundreds of thousands of kids that are out there that are missing. Some of them are runaways. Some of them now are going to be victims of trafficking and prostitution. And we owe it. We have an obligation to try to find them.
I've got a picture from a somewhat recent picture from an older case. I'm going to pass it around and take a look at it.
On an early May afternoon, marshals and local law enforcement agencies are preparing to do what they do best, go out and find someone. But it's not a dangerous criminal they're after. It's one of hundreds of thousands of missing children who could soon become victims. They've knocked on hundreds of doors across 7 cities over 10 weeks. And News Nation got a unique and up-close view of their recovery mission.
We're with the U.S. Marshals Service in Raleigh, North Carolina. They're working with other local agencies as well, trying to essentially arrest a 17-year-old who is also considered missing. This is part of Operation We Will Find You, the second year they're doing that.
At this home, ultimately, they didn't find the teen they were seeking, but they aren't giving up. It's on to the next. Here they face resistance, taking out a 15-year-old who has run away before with his older brother.
So we just did the workup and found out that they were staying with in the house we just went to. We thought we would find both the brothers there, but it was only one there.
Minutes later, and really just around the corner, marshals returned the boy to his mom. In an exclusive sit-down interview, Director of the U.S. Marshals Service, Ronald Davis, shares with us the goal of the mission.
What does success look like to you this time around?
One child recovered is important. We want to recover as many as we can.
During the mission, marshals found 200 children. They removed 123 from dangerous situations and located 77 safely across 7 states.
He's had some behavioral issues. I think he tore his mom's house up.
It's scenes like this on repeat. Marshals going house to house, locating and recovering children who are considered missing and endangered because of their age or circumstances. For now, the ones we saw reunited or safely located have a better chance at safety and success later in life.
And
we really need to look at one of the things with this, because if you're hearing what I'm hearing here, you've got, runaways. We do have runaways out there. We need to look at what are the circumstances that are leading to runaways. Okay, what are they not getting that they need? And it's not always, mom's fault, dad's fault. Sometimes it is. Oh, hell yeah, sometimes it is. Sometimes they're part of the system. And it's easier to let them run away than to go looking for them and give them what it is that they need. Is it, programs we need to have in place? What is it? Because we do know many of these kids that were found will probably run away again and, like in the case of the one girl, be trafficked yet again. Think about it. Your life, something about your life so bad that you would risk being trafficked again. Okay, what is going on? What is happening there? Okay, what Amy said, you truly believe Sebastian Monkey and Summer were, they vanish into thin air. That's the biggest red flag. I agree. Okay, the system's, I agree. The system, how many times we have people who disappear and we don't have any pictures of them? That to me shows me what they're needing. If we can't even have a picture of the person, the child, whether they are part of the system or they do have a loving mom and dad who literally doesn't have a picture of their child in the day and age of this wonderful thing called our cell phones that can take pictures, that kind of tells me something that's missing right there.
Operation led to the safe recovery of a 16-year-old girl from Michigan. She was found in Indiana with a 30-year-old man that marshals say was abusing her and keeping her against her will. That man was arrested. Henna?
Incredible job by the marshals. Great job on this story and getting this exclusive. Evan Lambert, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for watching.
So this is great. This is the second year in a row they have done this. Okay, I mean, something tells me we are looking at this happening on a yearly basis. Okay, we will find you. This year, we will find you 2, next year 3. It's the best type of sequel you can have. I wish we didn't have to do it, but U.S. Marshals, big props to them. So, okay, moving on quick. I told you once we got past that first one, we would move pretty quickly through the rest of these things. Nadia Cole. Okay, I'm not going to pull this up on the screen. I'll just read it for you guys because it's on Facebook, to be honest. There's not much updates. You guys know I am only giving you updates that I can verify. Okay, and not just continuing the same stuff over and over. Okay, that's why we don't talk about Seraya, Nadia, and Aaron as much now, because there's not a lot of updates happening right now. That needs to be covered so much more than it is. Yeah, about the system, about kids, that what they need. Others are too busy bashing. And yeah, exactly. And accusing parents with no Just look at everything. What else can be done? Okay, there are bad people out there. And I know it's easy to point fingers at what we see, but sometimes we need to be pointing fingers at stuff we don't see. And also, so Shauna came out today. Shauna, for those of you who don't know, is Seraya's maternal grandma. And she has been going to one of the Facebook groups and giving them updates, okay, regularly. And this is one of the examples. The Harmon family has done an amazing job at approaching missing. Okay, because that's one of the things we just talked about. Estefani, that poor family had no idea where to start, and they wanted to start, and they did it in one way, and then they got attacked left and right. And I just wish there were more groups out there. There are a few who will help walk people through the process. And Shauna has done an amazing job. She did come out today, a couple hours ago, saying that she had 2 small updates involving Seraya, Aaron, and Nadia. I'm reading this directly from the page. Number 1, all the evidence that was processed from the raid on the Aung family home has now been given to Pullman PD. So you guys remember, about 2 weeks ago or so, there was a raid, quote unquote raid, on the Aung family home. All that evidence is now with the Pullman PD. She does not know if everything that was seized has been processed. She knows it's with Pullman, but does not know if it's processed. Number 2, it has been confirmed now that Nadia's disappearance was connected to Aaron and Seraya. What do we get? Oh, you are not. I will have to update you on this one. This is and see, there's nothing being discussed on this. For those of you who don't know about this case, the case of, actually, let me pull up their pictures here. I do have them with some pictures right here. Okay, the blonde you see up there, Nadia, had been reported missing. In fact, the same day as Maria, I think it was. And at first, we all thought she disappeared at the airport. She went to the bathroom. Her family was going on vacation to Italy. Disappeared, not seen again. Okay, well, she was seen again on camera in the Seattle area. Later on, we find out on the same day, Aaron Aung, who you see there, was supposed to turn his daughter back over to, her mom. He never showed up. I do have a breakdown of this whole case. I will post it for anyone. We did break this down pretty good. And long story short, it is thought that the 2 took little Seraya and maybe in Mexico right now. I'll be honest, I don't know about that. Maybe they are. I think they could be anywhere, gang. So this is just Trishy is saying, I have a really bad feeling now that I know she's not back with her family and Nadia is still missing too. I've been one of the few people who've been like saying, guys, all 3 of them are in danger in my eyes. People keep focusing, and yes, you did. Yeah, there. I had a feeling you had. Yes, Seraya is in huge danger. Okay, is she loved by her dad? Yes, she is. I don't think he would ever do anything to hurt her. My problem is this. If they are in Mexico, and I've said this multiple times, guys, okay, you've got an absolutely gorgeous young woman in Nadia. Okay, blonde hair, even if she's colored her hair or something, young, gorgeous, 21-year-old. You've got a baby in Seraya. Okay, Mexico and trafficking go hand in hand. Okay, even Aaron is in danger at this point because if someone sees these 2 women, girls, okay, he could lose his life as someone tries to make a move. So I have said from day one, they need to speak up. They need to come home and make sure, because they're all 3 in danger right now. Okay, and I don't like to show all bad. Let's just focus on the bad, but this scares me. What situation preceded the kidnapping here? Does anyone know? No one knows specifically. We do know this is a very, very bad custody issue. The two maternal, paternal side, there have been a lot of, I mean, the paternal side has been downright using character assassination of mom. Lot of thoughts on things with that. Okay, I think a lot of it does come down to custody stuff. There was some potential. We did hear from Shauna that Shauna had called in a concern to CPS right before this happened. We also know that the Aung family said that dad wanted full custody with no visitation by mom, and they had their reasons. Okay, it's just sickening and sad. Okay, because this little girl doesn't deserve this, plain and simple. As for Nadia, it makes no sense for Nadia. This girl, in my, I mean, she just graduated on her way to becoming a criminal attorney, lawyer. Something's going. There's so much more to this picture, and my concern is as time goes on, the story loses its momentum. And it's important for us to keep their faces out there because we don't know where they are right now. Amy is saying, my niece's friend went to Mexico after graduation with friends and she was taken and stuffed with drugs. First of all, I am so sorry for your niece's friend. Second of all, that's the reality. I remember growing up, okay, my mom's side of the family's from Texas. We used to go to Mexico on weekends for fun. Now we won't even touch it. I mean, there's no way. Okay. I haven't been able to see any, if anyone else has seen something different, I have not seen any ties to Mexico. There have been some comments about could they have gotten to like the Philippines? Okay, other areas. We do know Nadia would have had her passport with her. She was on her way to Italy. And I'm sure he had a passport too. The reason why they say Mexico is because his dad's car, a Cadillac, was seen crossing the border into Mexico. Now, the problem is, was that truly them in the vehicle? There's no picture of them in the car. It's just the vehicle. Or could someone else have dumped the car there somewhere? That's the other thing. No one's ever found the car either. So that's another issue. And also there are a lot of different possibilities here. The family of Aaron, like I said, started some major character assassinations of mom, who, okay, right now basically has custody. Okay, legal custody. Okay, and baby needs to come back to mom at this point. However, they had 50-50 custody before. His family really went after mom and her family and stuff. I mean, nasty. Some of the nastiest stuff I've ever seen. Really nasty stuff. They did a whole internet website, all that. The police, after that, maybe a couple days after all that, really started pushing and becoming worse and worse and worse. The police raided their house at that point, trying to find out, because everything they were saying was excuses for Aaron. Okay, all this for happening. Nothing saying, please bring her home. This is, okay, she needs to be safe. It was excuses and almost pushing him to keep it up. And also the question is, do they know about where they are and everything? So computers gathered, things like that. We don't know. Yes, Pullman Police Department have all this now. We don't know what has been looked at, what has not been looked at. They stop all kinds, and that's been my issue. I'm like, how could they? Is there no body camera? Do police not use body camera as they are checking all the cars? Maybe not. But I've had a hard time, but we've also never seen these pictures. So maybe there's more that we don't know. That's very possible. Plus there's border stops before the border into Mexico. Yeah. And that's why I don't know what something there has never meshed in my head either. And I'm not sure if it's just we haven't been told the full story, and there's more out there that they're not letting on to right now. Police have been very open saying they think they are in Mexico, but then they come around, they say they could be anywhere at this point. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I really am not sure. So yeah, going into Mexico versus out. Maybe it's one side's a little bit more strict than the other. That's possible. I mean, literally, I don't think we care as much about people who are leaving the US as those coming into the US. And they definitely know, yeah, there's a lot more known about this case than we know. And that's fine. And further, Shauna said, let's see, we are, okay, it has been confirmed because for a while they would not say officially that Nadia was connected. They would say, yeah, it's very coincidental and all this other stuff. Yeah, it does fill it, but no one ever came out. They are now confirming that the cases, the disappearances are connected. She continued on saying, we were operating under this assumption that they were connected, but now it has been confirmed. She then continued on, we don't have any other information to share, but at least that's something. Hopefully we will have our sweet Seraya home soon. The FBI and law enforcement are not to be messed with. And so that's telling me they're happy with law enforcement. They feel law enforcement is doing everything they can. I did notice yesterday on News Nation, I forget who it was, but they did do a special on Seraya. I have not watched it yet. Maybe we can watch it again at another time, because it is, I definitely do want to, let me see if I can find it, News Nation. Who was it who did it? I can't remember who it was who did that. Sorry, I'm pulling it up right now. I think it was News Nation. Let me see. Video. Sorry, guys. I'm looking for it real quickly to share you. Oh, wait. Or was it Court? Actually, I think it was Court TV, not News Nation. It was Court TV. I'm almost positive now. I had that wrong. Court TV. Here we go. Let me see. I'm almost positive I saw it just earlier today. Okay, I'm going to have to keep looking around for it. I know I saw it somewhere earlier. I'll share it with people. Discord or something I will definitely share with you, but I did see something on Seraya Aung Harmon. Let me just search it this way. Maybe I could pull it up here. Yep, there it is. Court TV. Vinny Politan did something one day ago. So if you, here, I'll pull it up and give you guys all the link in. Please don't go visit this till after our live today. But if you want to watch his his video about it, there you go in chat real quickly. And also, what did I just miss here? Amy was saying, if you go further into Mexico, past the border towns, like way deeper, the people, yeah, and that's it. And that's like, in a way, anywhere you go, even the internet, okay? For the large part, people are good and they do things the right way. Yeah, just have some outliers that do nothing but try to cause trouble for people. Okay, Trishy, when I've driven over border from California to Mexico, it was not a big issue compared to US to Canada. Interesting. It's hard for me to cross the border or anything. I mean, living on an island, it becomes problematic. So, okay, let me see. Next thing we did talk about Estefani. And let me just check if there's been any updates on Estefani, because I do know we did have some people come in saying they had heard some other stuff about what happened with her. And I just want to see if anything's been verified. It does not look like it yet. It's still just, okay, got it. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to just stick with the fact that she's been found right now. I don't see anything else outside of she's found. She's safe. She's with her family right now. I have my own thoughts on that. In fact, I talked to Seal about that earlier today. So, okay, 2 real quick updates. I'm going to end with some updates on Ariel behind me. There was a thing with the court over this last week that I did want to update some people on, not much, and then also Gianna. So both of our Hawaii cases I will close with. However, before we do that, I did want to share with you one other case I was following this week. How many of you followed the case about Bryson? You might remember Bryson. There was a picture being shared of him. He'd been missing for about 2 weeks. Put a 1 in chat if you have heard about Bryson's case, a 2 if you have not. Bryson is a young man. I don't think I have any pictures of him up here right now, but nope, I don't got a picture backstage of him. His grandma had reported him missing. And last time she had seen him, it was with a really big swollen eye, fat lip. His dad is ex-defensive lineman for the Indianapolis Colts. And there's a connection in with a potential cult type activity. So long story short, he had gone missing. Police were looking for him. They were extremely concerned about him, especially with the fact, okay, we're going to see at some point here pictures of him. I'm pretty sure they show him here with the eye all swollen and everything else. Yeah, here we go right there. Let me see. There you go. This was him. And a lot of fear when he went missing and no one could find him. Well, they found him. The whole time he had been on this religious cult's property and with his mom and his dad. Mom and dad have now been taken into custody. Both of them have been given a 1 count on obstruction of justice, which is a level 6 felony. And dad has also been given 1 count of domestic battery, which is a class A misdemeanor. So let's go back here and watch this. Yep, Amy, exactly. This is crazy, this case, honestly. And also, let's
under arrest, accusations of abuse, and a missing teen found. That's just the beginning of a bizarre story out of Indiana tonight. 14-year-old Bryson Muir is safe after state police raided a compound owned by a religious cult this morning. Bryson is the son of former Indianapolis Colts defensive back Daniel Muir and was reported missing back on June 16th.
How many times have people watched football? And now you hear this name and you're like, what? What? Did I hear that? And my thought is this poor kid, he was hit by his dad. Think about the power behind that. A defensive lineman.
16. Bryson was found in his parents' property on the compound. Daniel and Kristen Muir were both arrested during this raid. The search warrant was granted after the parents stopped cooperating with police and failed to show up for a meeting with detectives last Friday. The former NFL star was also arrested for domestic battery. Bryson's grandmother claims that Daniel Muir hit his son, causing that black eye. Look at that. Joining us now, News Nation correspondent Caitlin Becker. All right, Caitlin, do we know where Bryson was this whole time? Because we've been reporting on this and nobody knew.
We have, and we still don't know where he was this entire time, Laura. It's a question as to whether or not he was on this property for the 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since he was first reported missing, and that silver alert went out after his grandmother had concerns over whether or not he was being domestically abused. And then we find him today on this property owned by his parents' property, owned by this religious cult during an early morning SWAT team raid. Now, both of his parents have been arrested. They're each facing a felony count of obstruction of justice, and the father is also facing a count of abuse. However, something to note here that when the police found him, they did say that he appeared safe and well. They didn't mention anything about any sort of visible injuries. So that photo that was taken about 2 weeks ago seems to have healed, and there wasn't anything necessarily to report. He has been placed into child protective custody.
Wow. And I remember when this picture, we want to show it again with the black eye. The grandmother also said he had a fat lip and a swollen face. So he has recovered. And I think he said something to the grandmother to the effect of, my dad hit me, but it's okay, or something had.
What worries me with this whole case is we're hearing, and we continue to hear during this case, about cult-like activity. Okay, living on a compound, things like that. And Bryson looks like he's getting to that age. Okay, I hope they took that as something I'd like to look into. What else did they do? And Bryson is at that age where I'm sure he's starting to rebel. He's wanting independence, things like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if he stood up for those things. And this is what he got in exchange for that. And of course, what gets me is the fact, what did we just hear? That police talked to, okay, whenever he would, not police, grandma would say stuff. Okay, he talks to grandma with this big black eye and fat lip and all. And it's like, oh, but it's okay. You know, that rings abuse. Okay, sustained abuse over time. I'm going to take it back just a little bit so you guys can rehear that part. And so here we go.
The grandmother also said he had a fat lip and a swollen face. So he has recovered. And I think he said something to the grandmother to the effect of, you know, my dad hit me, but it's okay, or something had happened.
No, it's not
But
okay.
still, now he's safe. And thank goodness for that. So where does the religious cult come into play? How did this all come about?
So something that the grandmother had also said is that she's concerned that the young boy has been brainwashed by the family and some of their religious beliefs.
He's
now,
retired.
this search warrant that was executed was on the property that's owned by this religious cult. It's actually called the Servants Leaders Foundation. And we believe Daniel Muir, his father, is actually a preacher for them. There's some video on YouTube of him preaching necessarily for this cult. And among the places that the search warrant would cover was the Muir family home, which is on this property, but they were also prepared to go into several other buildings on the property. So the investigation is ongoing, and it's really unclear if the group itself had something to do with either his disappearance.
That's what's going to be interesting. How many times there's a couple cases I've covered here that are connected to cults. Okay. There's one case I need to go back and check to see if they ever found. There were like 5 people that were all being looked for by families that all get connected in with this. But it is interesting with this thing. They all knew, the family, okay, mom and dad knew that this kid was being looked for. And the fact is, they think they're above the law. Let's do this. And they're ready to go in. I'm hoping they did. If they're still looking at the case, hopefully they'll check the rest of the kids, because I do worry about any other potential kid. Now, it's not saying for sure that it's a problem, but hopefully they're at least checking into it.
Or why perhaps the family wasn't cooperating with them. But after not cooperating with police, after a few days, they were able to go in and find him. But where he was, he could have been there the entire time, right under their noses.
This is a wild story. All right, Caitlin Becker, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for watching.
Okay, so that's Bryson's case, and hopefully we'll see if we hear more of it and stuff like that. But really, really interesting on that case. So I did want to finish up on 2 last cases. Okay, one just happened, and guys, I'm pissed. I'm frustrated. Okay. This is the case of Ariel behind me. We have been waiting on Ariel's case to go to trial for years now. It's beyond frustrating. I get to the point now when I go to the court website, I literally feel like I'm scrolling for hours. No, it's not hours, but it feels pretty dang close to it to get to the most recent information on it. June 27th. Okay, so this was last week. They haven't officially postponed it, but be prepared. Be prepared. We're waiting to find out what this is about right now. Okay, on the 27th, Lehua had a trial. Okay, both of them had a trial. Okay, status update. Through that, they decided to do this off record. Something's happening, because up to now, they've been pretty good about keeping everything on record. I have some thoughts on that, but I'm not going to open my mouth on it yet. But I have a funny feeling we are trying to find ways to push out trial even longer. The trial currently is set for October 28th, I think. Yeah. And My suspicion is people are playing games right now. There's a lot of thoughts that is someone going to turn on someone. Couple weird little things being found on the internet recently. Just a lot of weird stuff. And to me, if there's one case that screams corruption right now, it's this case. And I'm sorry to say it, but it just truly, I mean, yeah, I am getting really frustrated at this. We have a right to a speedy trial. But don't people also have a right to speedy justice to some degree? And this is getting ridiculous at this point. Okay, you see people pushing. We still don't know where her body is. And I don't think we are going to find out where her body is until either someone rolls over on someone else, okay, or they feel like, okay, I have no choice. I got to speak up now. Well, which is rolling over on someone else. Okay, I'm going to spend the rest of my life in jail if I don't speak up. And so there's a couple things going on in this case, but basically right now, this was done off record. There is going to, and interesting here is the amount of time between this and the next, okay, conference. I'm trying to see here, the next conference, let's see, sorry, trial status conference held off record. You can see here who was all there. Okay, via Zoom for both defendants. Okay, hearing on things. There is also right now, Isaac is trying to suppress some statements and all. That has been pushed out as part of this also. So we are looking at the 1st of August. So the day I get home from my vacation, we will be hearing more. Honestly, guys, I want to say 95% of me, we're going to have a postponement again. I guarantee you. I guarantee it. Other update is Gianna's case. This one, yeah, exactly. You know what? If I could get Madame Paley to blow it, yeah, exactly. I mean, jeez, these people. They have no, I don't know. They're all trying to hide behind each other. They're all trying to get away with whatever they can get away with. This, no, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. However, Gianna, couple things on Gianna's case going on right now. Let's start with this here. This was a while back, and I forgot to tell everyone about it. If you remember the case of Gianna was killed by her guardians. Guardian, mom and dad guardian. Okay, and then grandma guardian. Okay, no blood relations there. She was put there by CPS and all that, taken away from her parents and put there. They are now also awaiting trial here in Hawaii for murder. And I'm getting your dog. And not a lot going on here. However, grandma, where you see Jaron here, Deborah Jaron here. Deborah Jaron is grandma, okay, guardian grandma. She has made a motion for supervised release and bail. Right now, they cannot get out of jail. She's trying to get out with a reduced bail. Okay, she wants bail reduction, supervised, all this other stuff in the world. And they heard that. She said no. However, as of today, she has filed for an appeal of that. I say, hell no, you can stay in prison for a while. I mean, come on. Our little Gianna had to stay in this tiny little room locked up for how many hours at a time, how many days at a time? You can stay in prison until your trial date. Yeah, sorry. And outside of that, the other thing that is going on, and I'm going to be letting you guys know a little bit more about this as we get closer. when I get back from vacation, I'm going to work with a couple people. I've since discovered that Gianna has not had a memorial service. And that's something I want to correct. So I've been communicating with some other people, including her father. This is just hard on her father, trying to figure out how to do all this on his own. And I've told him I'll try to help him coordinate something. This baby deserves a memorial. So I will be letting you guys know more about that as we get closer. Because I am going to be buying, for example, lei for the memorial service, things like that. We may actually, I don't know if I'll share pictures at least. I'll find out beyond that, but I am going to talk to some other people also, because this little one spent her whole life, okay, in this family's house that just they didn't give a shit for her, and she deserves someone to say she mattered in death. So we're all going to come together and say she mattered in death. So, but this is where we are in her case. She was taken away. Her mom had drug issues. Her dad also had an issue with the courts. He had, if I recall correctly, had stolen a moped and then got into some issues with while on probation and did not show up for something. And then she was lost at that time. Her family, her dad's side of the family, wanted to keep her. So there was a blood auntie who lived in Texas. I have a video about this. Her auntie was going to adopt her, which would then allow her to move there and be with her family and all that. But to do that, dad had to give custody away, sign away custody. So dad signed away custody, okay, after Gianna had gone to Texas and started living with her auntie and all. Something happened while there. Her auntie started noticing some behaviors in her when she was there. So she contacted the CPS in Texas stating that, I'd like to take her to see a real psychiatrist because there's something going on here. She's not learning at the same age as my other children. She had other children in the house and all that. So she went to the caseworker about that. And within days of that, she gets a call from the Hawaii caseworker saying, you have, I think it was like 72 hours to have Gianna sent back to Hawaii because Texas is saying they don't want her anymore. And she needs to be sent back to us because she's officially still in our program. So she had to send her back, which sent her right back to this family that ended up killing her. The problem was because by the time she came back, dad had signed custody away to allow his sister to adopt. It's a nightmare situation type thing. I'll tell you more about it privately, but I can answer any more detailed questions, or we can also revisit this. If any of you guys would like to revisit this case, please let me know, because I can do a revisit on this case at any time, because this is one of the cases that means a lot to me. And anytime you find a case in your neighborhood, it hits you a little harder than others. And but that's why she was put into CPS initially. And yeah, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. It's kind of the reason why I'm a little frustrated right now with the memorial and all. But in the end, I'll be here for the child every day. Every day, I'll be here for the child, no matter what. And all. So we're gonna see what we can do for that case. Oh my God, in the bushes, 13 freaking months. Whoa. Oh my God, I can't believe 13 months already. We're getting further and further and further. And thank you for the membership. For those of you who, I don't say thank you enough. Thank you so much for those of you who become members of this channel. I really, really appreciate it. I'm not one who feels comfortable asking for members or donations or things like that. It's not something I feel necessarily comfortable about. But I appreciate every single minute of it. Every single minute that you guys do that and support me in those ways. And yep, those babies are innocent. They're the ones that suffered. She's the one who suffered. And that's Ariel suffered. And for all of us as adults, it feels like it becomes a game. Okay, well, where can we get someone to be in charge? Where can we go? Okay, what can we? It almost feels like a game of hot potatoes sometimes. Honestly, that's what it feels like when I watch it. It feels like people are playing a game of hot potato. Let's toss the child around the system enough until we can get someone who will stay with them. The problem is sometimes the ones who will keep them longest, especially if it's okay, because like, for example, Gianna, you could tell she was dealing with you could tell there was abuse in that background because she had been with, okay, the other family. Please go back, not her blood family, but the other. And you could see that she most likely suffered some level of abuse while initially in their hands. And then, of course, when she got sent back to them, she finds herself dead a few years later and all. So thank you guys so much, and thank you so much in the bushes. And also, I think that gives us most of our cases for today. I have to get packing because I am getting ready to leave for Iceland next week, Thursday. I will be back on Monday, so let me know if there's any cases you'd like to cover. But I will do Monday. Wednesday, I should be with Sleuth, but we will see exactly how that works because I leave Thursday at 5 p.m. My plane leaves. And I get to fly from Hawaii to New York. And then we catch the ship on Saturday, I think it is. And then we go New York to Reykjavik, Iceland, 2 weeks. And then I catch a plane from Reykjavik, Iceland, all the way back to Honolulu. So it's going to be fun. Hey, girl, you know what? I will. Sorry. I have them in, I keep forgetting mod chat. So I'll send it to you, girl, for sure. And so anyhow, I will talk to you guys laters. Hope you guys have a great weekend. It is Aloha Friday. It's Aloha Friday. No work till Monday. A doobie doo, a doobie 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 doo. Okay, have a great one. Aloha, mahalo. See you guys on Monday. What, you want to say goodbye? Say bye-bye. Bye.